Good evening. Happy Monday night to you. How you doing? How was your day at your job? What's the weather like? It is raining here in St. Louis, Missouri. I am going over some notes, some things that I want to use in my business coaching and my vision board class. I'm Kitryn Marie, reside in St. Louis, Missouri, artist, writer, speaker, life, and a business coach, teach a variety of art classes. Based in psychology and life coaching. Not a doctor. I say that all the time. I use what I've studied, what I learned in any of my art classes that I teach, whether it be painting or vision board. But I'm going over some notes. I have an online book that I always use as reference to gain my information, gather my words when I have these thoughts in my head. I first want to say some people still do not realize the benefit of social media. And if it was not for social media and all of the platforms, people with raw talent, hidden gifts, would never, ever would have been seen or validated or even recognized for having the ability to do something. There have been people for a lifetime that have been made fun of because they had a desire to do something and not really having the ability without, a talent agent or somebody helping to promote them, so on and so forth. And those people that have had these bigger dreams and goals are now, through social media, been able to utilize the medium to help them. I'm stumbling over words, but I think you know what I'm getting at. Through TikTok especially, and I heard this from somebody else, the lady that crochets or the lady that sews or the lady or the young girl who plays the guitar and now she's being seen for her talents. Even myself as an artist, I always say I've always had my hand in food and beverage. That is my earned income. But I have a passive income from what I've studied, where I've turned around and been able to use what I've learned, in my art classes. But for people who have already had their big hurrah in life, and now they are hidden in the shadows, they have chosen not to live that life or go down that path anymore because they once lived in that spotlight. They sometimes resent any of us that are now using social media to our benefit, to help us excel what we know and how we've learned things and how we can take these gifts and these talents. And I talk about this in my business coaching class, how we can use social media using what we know to come forward so we can be seen. We don't have to stay hidden anymore. We don't have to stay in the shadows. And it disrupts people's egos. They have an identity loss because they no longer associate with who they used to be. So I went to this online book that I have that I use all the time from when I was taking some classes, and there are chapters on everything that I talk about in any of my classes, but I want to read this to you because you might be able to understand where I'm coming from. Loss of identity and role. For someone who has experienced being in the spotlight, their sense of self-worth might have become intertwined with external validation. While they were in those big moments in their life, what I call the big hurrah, being seen, celebrated, or acknowledged became a core part of their identity. When they transition to a stage of life where they no longer receive that level of attention, they feel a loss of identity. or a purpose. They have no purpose anymore. The external validation which they received from the masses or whomever they were around, they can't compete or compare to the life that they're living now. In psychology, they call it a shift in your role of your identity. They have anchored their value to a past role, and now without it, they feel diminished or invisible. So if you are being seen in a spotlight and someone is criticizing you for being able to be recognized for your gift or a talent, it disrupts the identity who they believe that they are, which no longer is. The loss can breed feelings of inadequacy, resentment, or even envy when they see others receiving the attention they once had. It's an ego threat. The ego plays such a significant role in how people view themselves relative to others. When someone else begins to stand out or get recognition, the person feels threatened. This is tied to social comparison theories, the idea that people determine their value based on comparisons to others. If they feel someone else's success highlights their own lack of relevance, it can trigger envy or bitterness. They may attempt to undermine or diminish others' achievements, and as a psychological defense mechanism to protect their own fragile egos. So do you understand that? Those that once had those big hurrah type moments and they no longer live that life, they don't want to see you prosper and be successful with your life. Where once they got the attention and the accolades for their gifts and talents, they now resent you for achieving your goals or your dreams because they no longer have that identity and they no longer have the power to put themselves back in there, because for a lot of different reasons it takes a lot of effort to go live, to be in the public, to be on, to put yourself in front of an audience. And then when you are putting emotion into what you are doing and someone doesn't have the wherewithal, or they are numbed down for whatever reason through addictions, alcoholism, depression, prescription pills, recreation drugs, they resent people who can be authentic because they cannot relate. They cannot connect to it because they've numbed all of their emotions and all of their feelings. And they've resorted back to themselves when they are having to deal with just themselves. And also, it's a scarcity mindset. It also explains behavior. People with this mindset believe there's a limited amount of success and recognition or attention available. And if someone else is shining, they feel there's less light for them. That person who had all that attention, adoration, admiration, being in the spotlight, and now that they do not have any of that, they don't want anyone else to achieve that. So, when we are looking at social media, when we are talking about having a passive income based on your gifts and your talents, understand those that were once hidden, where their talents and gifts were not seen, and now we have social media who has plummeted, or catapulted rather, people into success. And we are seeing multi-millionaires who have become successes because of social media. So before you criticize somebody for going online, exposing themselves, creating content, showing off their talents, their gifts via art, via music, via just speaking, be mindful of your own ego and your own identity or loss of. But I'm Kitryn Marie. I do reside in St. Louis, Missouri, an artist, writer, speaker, life, and a business coach. If you're interested in taking my business coaching class, it's $95. It's based on what you want to achieve in your life. Reach out, Kitryn_Marie at yahoo.com. Take care. Enjoy your night. See you soon.